हेलो एवरीवन। ओके, थैंक्स फॉर जॉइनिंग। ठीक है। सो जो हम डिस्कस करने वाले इस सेशन के अंदर, ठीक है, तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल थैंक्स फॉर जॉइनिंग। सो वेलकम टू पी वाई क्यू सीरीज, है ना। तो हम आज के सेशन में, ठीक है, तो हम डिस्कस करेंगे जो भी प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस with respect to the cloud computing. Okay, so we're gonna discuss so what are the different questions we got from previous papers, है ना। तो अगर आपने सिलेबस देखा है ना, सो वी हैव ऑलमोस्ट 4 टॉपिक्स मेंशन इन क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग। सो जो 4 टॉपिक्स हैं क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग के अंदर, है ना, जैसे क्लाउड, तो 4 टॉपिक्स मेंशन किया है। सो वन इज कंप्यूट, देन यू हैव अ नेटवर्क, बाद में आपका स्टोरेज टेक्नोलॉजीज, ठीक है, सो स्टोरेज टेक्नोलॉजीज दिया है। एंड फोर्थ वी हैव एज कंप्यूटिंग। तो सिलेबस के अंदर ही सिर्फ 4 टॉपिक्स मेंशन किया है। एंड जो भी क्वेश्चंस जो भी प्रीवियस ईयर पूछा है, ओके, वी गोना डिस्कस इन अपकमिंग स्लाइड्स। ओके, बट जो भी आपका जो भी पैटर्न है, ओके, सो फ्रॉम द प्रीवियस एग्जाम, ओके, एग्जामिनेशन बेस, सो हार्डली यू कैन एक्सपेक्ट 0 to 2 क्वेश्चंस। ठीक है। सो कई पेपर्स में इवन दो क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग मेंशन हुआ था सिलेबस के अंदर, लेकिन कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछा गया। ठीक है। So even you can expect 1 or 2 questions. So we'll see like what are the different questions we're gonna cover. ठीक है। So आपके सिलेबस में 4 टॉपिक्स है, जैसे कंप्यूट के बारे में, इंट्रोडक्शन टू क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग, उसके कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स, उसके फीचर्स आपको पढ़ना पड़ेगा। देन यू हैव बेसिक नेटवर्किंग कॉन्सेप्ट्स, जहाँ पर नेटवर्क वर्चुअलाइजेशन। देन यू हैव स्टोरेज टेक्नोलॉजीज, लाइक क्लाउड के अंदर हम अलग अलग जो स्टोरेज टेक्नोलॉजीज यूज़ करते हैं, सो वी नो गोना डिस्कस, है ना। तो वो ऑलरेडी जो भी हमारा अब बैच चल रहा है उसमें ऑलरेडी ये डिस्कस हो गया है। ठीक है। सो वी हैव एज कंप्यूटिंग। ओके, सो दिस इज व्हाट एक्चुअली द सिलेबस इज। ओके, सो इस बेसिस पे सो वी गोना सी द प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस। ओके, सो लेट्स स्टार्ट। सो हम कैसे फॉलो करेंगे? सो फर्स्ट आई जस्ट रीड आउट द क्वेश्चन। सो पहले मैं क्वेश्चन को रीड आउट करूंगा, then I'll give a few seconds, okay, so for you, so that you can reply me the answers. Okay, so then I'll discuss in detail. Fine, so this is how we're going to do it. Okay, so the first question is, okay, so dash has a feature of remote access through which a customer can access the data from anywhere anytime with the help of internet connection. The question is, so which is that feature which has the remote access? Okay, so which has the remote access from which the customer can access the any data, right, from anywhere and from any time, through with the help of what? With help of internet connection. So 4 options diya hai. So IaaS, that is infrastructure as a service, then platform as a service, correct, then is network as a service, then we have a software as a service. So ये 4 options है. Okay, so you can, so basically start, है ना। तो आपके 30 seconds. ओके, सो विल स्टार्ट नाउ। सो यू कैन जस्ट स्टार्ट रिप्लाइंग आपके जो भी आंसर्स है, अगर आप ऑलरेडी क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग टॉपिक्स पढ़ा है, एंड सो यू कैन जस्ट आंसर दिस पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन। एस एनी आंसर्स? एनी आंसर्स? ठीक है। ओके, ओके, सो 4 ऑप्शन दिया है, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, प्लेटफॉर्म, network as a service and software as a service. So जो भी इधर नाम लिया है, so basically it is various services provided by the cloud, है ना। So cloud में we have broadly 3 categories: infrastructure, platform and a software, है ना। So any guesses? Okay, कई लोग बोल रहे हैं A, okay, C, okay, so let's see. So what is the correct answer? Okay, so the correct answer is network as a service. Okay, so why network as a service? So correct answer is option C. Okay, correct answer is option C. ठीक है। that is option C, that is network as a service. So network as a service के अंदर we have an option of remote access. Okay, remote access का मतलब क्या होता है? So anything, okay, so remote access enables user to connect to the systems that they need when they are physically far away, है ना? अगर कोई भी systems या कोई भी servers या कोई भी client को connect करना है, right? So this is what the meaning of remote services. तो जो भी 4 ऑप्शंस दिया है, ओके, इनमें से कौन सा वो सर्विस है जहां पर हम रिमोट एक्सेस कर सकते हैं? सो द आंसर इज नेटवर्क एज ए सर्विस. ओके, इसके कुछ characteristics हैं. That is, customer use a network as a service to gain direct and safe access to the internet, right? So through that particular service we can gain access to the internet. हम internet को access कर सकते हैं, correct? So it also helps the customers to use their own routing protocols. Fine. So network as a service offers network access to the user using a virtualized network. तो इसके अंदर virtualization का concept भी आता है, right? So with help of virtualization, so even we can access the network remotely with the help of an remotely, right? So this is what one of the services. Next, the customers gains from this feature because they don't have to maintain. तो इसमें very important point क्या है? So they just have to use the service, right? And they have not to worry about anything about infrastructure. So infrastructure के बारे में वो कुछ ऐसे think भी नहीं करना है, because so everything is managed by the service provider. So they do not have to maintain or think about the infrastructure. तो इसमें जैसे मैं बताया, so we have majorly जो भी इधर options है, so these are the majorly comes under service models, है ना? So infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. ठीक है? So the next question, okay, so next question देखेंगे, okay. So you can see these are questions which is asked previous years, okay, in CS paper, okay. So the next question is, dash okay is the partitioning of a single physical server into multiple logical servers. ठीक है? एक कौन सा one of the options, okay, which help us to partition a physical server, any physical component, any physical hardware into a multiple logical servers. तो उस concept को हम क्या बोलते हैं? Okay, so we have an option virtualization, hybrid cloud, private cloud, and public cloud. Okay, so you can start answering. Okay, जो भी आपका आंसर है, then I'll discuss it. Yes. Yes. What is the answer? So 4 options है: virtualization, hybrid, private, and public. Okay, so let's check the correct answer. Okay, see, correct answer is virtualization. ठीक है? So virtualization का मतलब क्या होता है? So virtualization is basically is a major technology in cloud computing, है ना? So we can see like it go hand in hand. So without virtualization, we can't even think of any service in the cloud, है ना? So virtualization is a technology that you can use to create a virtual representation of servers, storage, network, and other physical machines. Actual तो हमको पता है, when I say actual, so it's a physically hardware component. जब हम बोलते हैं virtually, if I want to access that physical hardware component virtually, okay, so through a different mechanism, है ना? So for example, ये हमारा system hardware है, okay, so if I want to explain in short, okay, what actually the virtualization is, है ना? तो already हमने देखा definition is a virtualization is basically technology that used to create what? A virtual representation of all these components. Either it could be a server, इसमें अलग अलग तरीके से virtualization आते हैं, storage virtualization, we have network virtualization, okay, we have CPU virtualization, we have many other virtualizations, है ना? तो हमारा जो भी component है, okay, so we have all the system hardware. So system hardware, okay, so with, okay, so हमको क्या करना है? Assume like, और एक best example virtualization, आपके पास Windows है, correct? आपके पास जो भी Windows operating system है, if you're using some laptop, and if you want to run Linux, आप क्या करते हैं? You basically install VMware or VirtualBox from Oracle, है ना? So आप वो install करते हैं, and from there you'll able to use what? A Linux operating system. तो ये virtualization का best example है, जहाँ हम regularly use करते हैं, right? So we have what? A laptop, Windows operating system जो आप use कर रहे हो, and if you want to access any other operating system, correct? So then you'll go with what? A Linux. sorry, Linux operating system को use करना है, then what do? So basically either you will use VMware, है ना, आप VMware और VirtualBox use करते हैं. So what this basically does, so it will basically replicate, है ना, जो भी आप ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम यूज कर रहे हो, so इसका ही खुद का एक कंपोनेंट्स रहेगा, राइट, लाइक जो भी रैम है या जो भी रिसोर्सेज चाहिए टू रन दिस. सो ये आपका बेस ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम है, राइट. सो विथ हेल्प ऑफ सम सॉफ्टवेयर, सो वो सॉफ्टवेयर हम बोलते हैं हाइपरवाइजर. ओके, इट्स बेसिकली थ्रू द हाइपरवाइजर वी कैन क्रिएट वर्चुअल machines through our whatever the resources. Okay, in simple, so we have a hardware because so हमको क्या करना है, so we need to create a virtual machines, virtual machine 1, virtual machine 2 and virtual machine 3. So I can create this different virtual machine with the same system hardware virtually, so with help of hypervisor. So ये virtually create कर रहा है, right. So even it could be a storage virtualization, उसके भी अलग types आते हैं, network का virtualization जैसे VLAN है ना, तो उसके अलग अलग virtualizations आते हैं. So just remember, it's basically a technology that you can use to create a virtual representation of a servers, storage and networks. Fine. So this is what the virtualization is. ठीक है. So question में वही पूछा था. So dash is a partitioning of a single physical server, जो भी आपका single physical server है, into multiple logical servers. ठीक है, आपको एक physically hardware है, so you are dividing that into a multiple logical server so that you can give a service to for the users, है ना. So here the correct answer is virtualization. जो भी ये options है, so this is basically deployment models, है ना. अगर आपको so in cloud computing we have various deployment models, public हो गया, private हो गया, we have community, we have hybrid. Hybrid is basically a combination of public and the private, है ना. So this is the deployment models and this is basically a technology. Fine. So this very simple questions आते हैं, ठीक है, cloud computing के अंदर. Okay, so let's see for the next question. Okay, so the next question is identify the odd one. ये तो simple है, right. So हमको odd one identify करना है. Okay, so the first option is AWS, that is Amazon Web Services. So B, we have Microsoft Azure. ठीक है. So then we have a Google Cloud Platform and D, we have a Twitter platform. ठीक है. So which is the correct answer? ये बहुत simple है. So I expect the correct answer. जो भी आपका आंसर है चैट में टाइप कीजिए. Yes. Yes, what is the correct answer? You can identify ना. If you are already worked with some cloud, आप आसानी से इसमें odd one out निकाल सकते हो, right? Okay. Fine. Okay, let me tell the answer. Okay, I'm getting the response. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, so what is the correct answer? So the correct answer is a Twitter platform. क्यों? So जो भी हमारे cloud services हैं, okay, so whether it is storage service or network service or any kind of, we have n number of services of like जब हम services की बात करते हैं, जो service provide करते हैं हम उनको बोलते हैं cloud service provider, CSP, है ना. So cloud service provider ये कौन होते हैं? So who provide the services through over the cloud, है ना. So these are the three major leading companies who provide the services. Okay, AWS is by the Amazon. इनको हम बोलते जो भी तीन कंपनीज हैं वो क्लाउड सर्विस प्रोवाइडर है जो सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड करते हैं ना. सो व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट सर्विसेज? बहुत सारे सर्विसेज हैं. ओके, इट कुड बी एनीथिंग. ओके, जो भी आप सोच सकते हो. सो वी दे प्रोवाइड एवरीथिंग, all the IT infrastructure services, okay, over the cloud. So first major leading is AWS. Okay, Amazon Web Services, उनके बहुत सारे services होते हैं. Even Microsoft Azure is one of the services. And ये आके Google से Google Cloud Platform, GCP बोलते हैं. Okay, GCP. Fine. GCP. Fine. So ये आके networking platform है ना, social network platform है ना. So this is not a cloud platform. Even they won't provide any services over the cloud, है ना. So this is social platform, so where you can write the tweets and share your opinions, correct. So we can easily find odd one out. Okay, so this is very simple. Got it? समझ में आ रहा है? Fine. Okay, so we have discussed 3 questions, right? So that were very simple. आप देख सकते हो बहुत simple questions पूछा जाता है with respect to the cloud computing. Got it? Okay. Okay. So let's move on to the next question. Okay. So next question we have, in dash virtual machines do not simulate the underlying hardware. ठीक है. So जो भी हमने virtualization अभी देखा है ना, so they're telling, so which among this virtual machine does not simulate the underlying hardware. वो basically it will not create a virtual machines for you है ना, जो भी hardware it will not create it. So we have a para virtualization, full virtualization, hardware assisted virtualization, and network virtualization. Yes. So what is the correct answer? I'll tell the correct answer. Okay. So first you guess. So in dash virtual machines do not simulate the underlying hardware. So virtualization के अलग अलग types आते हैं. Okay, we have full virtualization, partial virtualization, and para virtualization. ठीक है? You should know that particular concept. Okay, so what is the correct answer? Yes, what is the correct answer? What is the correct answer? Okay, I'm getting the response. Okay. Okay, so let me tell. So the correct answer for this is a para virtualization. ठीक है, तो हमको जानना पड़ेगा what are different types of virtualizations, right? So as I told you, so we have para virtualization, full virtualization, and what? Partial virtualization. ठीक है, जब मैं बोल रहा हूँ para virtualization, ठीक है, so in the para virtualization जब हम virtualization करते हैं, ठीक है, the hypervisor is installed over the host OS, right? In para virtualization hypervisor दो तरीके के होते हैं, type 1 hypervisor and type 2 hypervisor. in simple से बोलता हूँ, ठीक है. So we have type 1 hypervisor और आके we have a type 2 hypervisor. So type 1 में we use a bare metal, हमारा जो भी hardware है, right, जो भी हमारा hardware उसको हम bare metal, so we try to install the hypervisor on that bare metal, right? So and after installing the hypervisor, so basically I can create a virtual machines over that. Fine. So type 2 में क्या होता है? So we have same hardware, इसका कोई खुद का ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम नहीं होता है. जो भी मेरा हार्डवेयर कंपोनेंट है, राइट, सो जो भी मेरा सर्वर है ऑन विच आई एम इंस्टॉलिंग द हाइपरवाइजर, राइट, ऑन विच आई एम इंस्टॉलिंग दिस हाइपरवाइजर, सो बेसिकली इसका खुद का ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम नहीं होता है, राइट. सो व्हेन आई टॉक अबाउट टाइप 2, सो टाइप 2 के अंदर इसका भी सेम हार्डवेयर रहेगा, राइट. सो वी हैव it has its own operating system, उसका खुद का operating system रहेगा, and we install the hypervisor, right. So then we create a virtual machines. Okay, so these are the two types of hypervisors. ठीक है, तो इसमें क्या हो रहा है? So in para virtualization, okay, so जब मैं बोल रहा हूँ full virtualization, तो so it will be virtualized fully. ठीक है, so partially मतलब some of the hardware components will not be a virtualized, so partial होता है, full and partial. ठीक है, so para का क्या होता है? So para के अंदर, so there is an operating system involved in it. Okay, through the operating system we gonna distribute, we gonna virtualize it. इसमें क्या बोल रहे हैं? In para virtualization the hypervisor is installed over the host OS, correct. The guest operating system need to be modified before installing on hypervisor to enable the sharing of hardware. So basically, और जब आप hypervisor install करते हो on the OS, right? So by default it will not create a virtual version of it, है ना? तो उसमें वही question पूछा है. So which virtual machine does not simulate underlying hardware? Para. क्यों? Because so whatever the hypervisor you're installing, okay, on the host OS, right? So that host OS has to be modified. Okay, so हमको कुछ modification करना पड़ेगा to enable, right? So to enable the sharing of hardware resources by the guest operating system effectively. Fine. So basically in para virtualization we have to make certain configuration, so directly it will not be a virtualized. So we have to make a configuration in the operating system to enable the virtualization. So that's what. So in this particular VM, in this para virtualization VM does not simulate the underlying hardware. ये तो full virtualization है, जो भी आपका resources है, it will be fully virtualized. Then network, anyone the hardware virtualization. So ये सारा virtualized हो जाएगा, ठीक है. But in para virtualization you need to basically do certain modification before installing the hypervisor. Fine. So this is what the para is. तो full के अंदर क्या है? In the full virtualization, hypervisor is installed directly on the hardware system so that the guest operating system can directly interact with the hardware. तो full में क्या हो रहा है? Is directly installed on the hardware system. right? Full virtualization के directly installed hardware system में, then installed over the operating system. Okay, OAE difference, you need to find that. Fine. And stability depends on the guest OS. Okay, so network के अंदर क्या हो रहा है? Same thing. So they are all the available resources like hardware, software, and network resources are present as a single packaged over the network. Okay, so through the network virtualization you can access all kinds of resources. This is what one of the important factor है ना, जो भी आप cloud services access कर रहे हो, it's only because of network virtualization. Fine. So next we have hardware assisted virtualization, where we virtualize the hardware. Fine. So virtualization is very important in the cloud computing. Okay, it's a very important concept. Fine. So let's move on to the next question. Okay. Fine. Got it? Any doubts? Fine. Very simple questions. ठीक है, इसमें कुछ complexity नहीं है. Okay. So the next question is, so which level of RAID? Okay. So what is RAID stands for? Anyone? RAID का मतलब क्या होता है? That is redundant array independent device, right? So basically refers to, okay, which level of RAID refers to disk mirroring with block stripping. So we have a different, so आपको RAID पता होना है what is RAID. We have a level 1, level 0, sorry, level 2 and level 3. So yes, what is the answer? Then I'll explain. Okay, so इसका correct answer मैं explain करूँगा. So before that, can you guess? So if you have studied like what is RAID is and what are the different levels of RAID? Yes? Yes, can you guess the answer? So in which RAID level we have disk mirroring with a block stripping? Yes, what is the correct answer? Can anyone can guess? Yes? Yes, so correct answer. Okay, so I'm getting the response. Okay, so the correct answer is RAID level 1. तो RAID का मतलब क्या होता है? So RAID is basically a storage mechanism, you can say, right? It's a storage technology. So RAID level 1 refers to the disk mirroring with the block storage. This was the correct answer. Okay, level 1. Fine. So RAID का मतलब क्या होता है? It's basically redundant array of independent. So redundant का मतलब होता है just a copy or replica, right? So copy. Array मतलब we know a stack, right? So in redundant array of independent a disk. Fine. So it's a type of storage that writes data across multiple drives. So मतलब RAID का मतलब क्या होता है? So it basically writes data across a multiple drives with the same machine. Okay, same system. Okay. So if you want to replicate a data, so based on various levels or various mechanisms, so if you want to basically अगर आपको ऐसी system चाहिए जहाँ पर fault tolerance हो या reliability हो या if you are considering about the performance, then you can just think of this particular storage type. Okay. तो इसके अंदर अलग अलग क्या बोलते हैं कॉन्फ़िगरेशन है, जैसे RAID 0 हो गया, RAID 1, देन वी हैव RAID 5, राइट? सो देन वी हैव RAID 5. ओके, सो इसका जो भी लेवल्स है इट हैज़ इट्स ओन एडवांटेजेस, राइट? सो डिपेंडिंग अपॉन योर रिक्वायरमेंट्स एंड डिपेंडिंग अपॉन हाउ इट बेसिकली राइट्स एंड रीड द डेटा, राइट? अगर परफॉर्मेंस के बारे में अगर उसे भी फैक्टर्स आपने कंसिडर किया, देन वी हैव डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ RAID. So just remember, so why we use this RAID technology? So basically to increase what? Performance, right? And the reliability of the data storage. That's what जो मैंने बताया. So if you want to increase the performance, or you're thinking of the to have the reliable systems, right? So then you can use this particular RAID technology. तो इसमें अलग अलग होता है, जैसे RAID 0 हो गया, ठीक है? इस क्वेश्चन के अंदर पूछा था which have be disk mirroring and block stripping, right? Actually this question was asked twice. Okay, दो बार पूछा है in some exams. Okay, fine. So here we have a RAID 0. So RAID 0 का मतलब क्या होता है? If you have a data 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, ठीक है? assume these are the different data you have, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so if you have a 2 disk, so 1 either store hoga, 2 either store hoga. This is the RAID 0, fine, RAID 0. 3 either store hoga, 4 will be stored here, 5 will be stored here, 6 same. Okay, so this is what data breaking you can say. So data break होके they are storing in the individual. ये fault tolerant नहीं है, ठीक है, fault tolerant नहीं है. लेकिन RAID 1 में क्या हो रहा है? So they are keeping the exact replica of the data, right? So we have जैसे 1 2 है, so 1 2 3 4 5 again we have 1 2 3 4. It's basically a what, a mirroring, ठीक है. Fine. So the next question is, okay, so ये बहुत simple है, so I can expect the answer, right? So 1 megabyte memory storage in the form of bytes. So this may come in various subject, also other subjects में आता है, लेकिन if you are talking about the cloud, so you can expect as a storage, क्योंकि हमारे topic के अंदर storage भी है, right? So we can expect some of the basic questions from storage. So they're asking what is a 1 megabyte in terms of bytes, okay? 1 megabyte memory storage in form of bytes. It's 1024 bytes or 1024 square bytes or 1024 cube bytes or 1024 to the power of bytes. Okay, yes, answers. Yeah, बहुत simple, right? So yes, what is the answer? Yes, what is the answer? Yes, what is the answer? तो जो भी हमारा डेटा हो स्टोर हो रहा है, द डेटा इज स्टोरिंग इन द फॉर्म ऑफ वंस एंड जीरोस, राइट? सो वी नो दैट, है ना? जो भी हमारा डेटा स्टोर है, सो इट विल बी स्टोर्ड इन वंस एंड जीरोस. So yeah, so this is very simple, right? So we have a bit, we have a byte, right? Then kilobyte, then megabyte, you know, then gigabyte. Fine. So what is the correct answer? So correct answer is actually yes in chat. Okay, so we are getting, okay, so it's 1024 to the power to the whole square to the 1024 square bytes. Okay, so alright, so we need to know this basics, right? So we have 1 byte is basically 8 bits, जो भी हमारा zeros ones है. So basically if I am storing any data on the disk, it's basically form of zeros and ones, है ना? अगर if we have 8 bits 2 3 4 0 1, so this 8 bits, okay, so this is what 8 bits is equal to 1 byte. उसको हम एक 1 byte बोलते हैं, right? So we have 1 byte. Similarly 1024 bytes give rise to 1 kilobyte. Easy है याद रखने के लिए, if you know this hierarchy, right? Just remember we have a byte, then kilobyte, then megabyte, gigabyte, terabyte and petabyte. Fine. So 8 bits हो गया 1 byte, right? So you can see the representation, that is B, right? So that is byte. Fine. So next क्या है? So we have 1024 bytes, right? So 1024 bytes is 1 kilobyte, right? It's very simple. Next 1024 kilobytes, 1024 kilobytes is 1 megabyte. Fine. तो क्वेश्चन 1 मेगाबाइट का ही पूछा है, राइट? सो 1 मेगाबाइट मेमोरी स्टोरेज इन फॉर्म ऑफ बाइट्स बोलना है, राइट? बाइट्स. सो इट्स 1024 बाइट्स, राइट? सो अब हमने कैलकुलेट किया, सो 1 मेगाबाइट इज बेसिकली 2 to the power of 20 bytes, right? So because 2 into 10 into 2 into 10, that's what 1024 into 1024 is basically 1024 square bytes. Fine. In terms of bytes पूछा गया है ना? So this is 1024, this is 1024. So basically I'm getting what? Twice of yeah, they're asking in bytes, है ना? So we have 1024 and 1024, so which is give rise to 1024 whole square. Fine. So ये 1024 याद रखो. अगर कोई पूछा 1 terabyte, so what is 1 terabyte? Is 1024 megabytes. Right? And what is the 1 terabyte? 1024 gigabytes. And 1024 terabytes give rise to 1 petabyte. Or simple, just remember this hierarchy. Okay, this was asked in 2020. Fine. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Fine. So next question is last question. Okay, so इतने questions पूछा है. So अभी तक जो भी हमने discuss किया है, right? So this is the last question. Then we'll see like what we can do. Okay. So which of the following is the component of Hadoop? Okay. So Hadoop is basically one of the storage, है ना? हम बात करेंगे so because ये question मैंने cloud content के अंदर लिया है क्योंकि Hadoop will come under the storage section. Okay, storage section. Okay, इसके अलग components होता है. Okay, so it's coming which are the components of Hadoop? So we have yarn, we have HDFS, we have MapReduce. ठीक है. So what is the correct answer? Anyone know what is Hadoop? Hadoop क्या होता है? And what is Hadoop ecosystem when you are talking about big data, है ना? So if you have worked with big data, of course you would have known what is Hadoop, right? So yeah, what is the correct answer? Yes. Yes, what is the correct answer? Okay. Fine. So the correct answer is all of this, right? So we have in Hadoop, we have all these major components like HDFS, Hadoop Distributed File System. We have MapReduce for processing, and we have a YARN for resource management. Okay? So we have this what? We have HDFS, Hadoop Distributed File System in the storage unit, right? Then we have MapReduce, ये हम processing के लिए use करते हैं, right? And we have a YARN, yet उसका full form होता है yet another resource negotiator, basically resource management. जो भी रिसोर्सेज प्रोसेसिंग के लिए जो भी हमको रिसोर्सेज चाहिए वो जो मैनेजमेंट करेगा इट्स बाय द यार्न. दिस आर द थ्री मेजर कंपोनेंट्स ऑफ Hadoop ecosystem. Okay, so we have what? Hadoop distributed file system, MapReduce, and YARN. Okay, fine. Okay, so this was all about previous questions in the cloud computing. ठीक है. So जितने भी questions NIC के अंदर पूछा है with respect to the cloud computing, I have included all those questions, right? So इतने questions पूछा गया है. लेकिन what we'll do now is we'll see some of the important kind of questions, है ना? So expected kind of questions, so which help you to revise it, है ना? So that you can re-revise like your concept with respect to the cloud computing. So हम set of questions देखेंगे, and this questions is not asked in previous year, so just it's only for the practice. Okay, so जो मैं अब start करने वाला हूँ, I think there's very few questions which is asked. That's what I told. So you can expect at least 0 to 2 questions. Fine. So it depends. Fine. So इस बार कितने questions आएंगे? So we don't know, right? Okay. Fine. Okay. So next, let's start with some of the sample questions, some kind of important questions. Fine. So we'll start with what is cloud computing. Yes, what is cloud computing? So we have 4 options. So cloud computing means providing services like storage, servers, database, networking, etc. MapReduce. A. Option B, cloud computing means storing data in the database. Correct. And option C, cloud computing is a tool used to create an application. Fine. And option D, none of the mentioned above. Yes, I can expect this, right? So what is the correct answer? Batao. Correct answer. What is the cloud computing? Yes, what is the cloud computing? Okay. आपका आंसर जल्दी से टाइप करो चैट के अंदर. Okay. Fine. I think it's very simple. Okay. So the cloud computing means providing services like storage, servers, database, networking, and MapReduce, right? It doesn't mean like cloud computing मतलब होता है कि we're not means storage data in database. उसका मतलब ये नहीं होता है, right? Even cloud computing is a tool used to create an, it's not even that, right? So cloud computing is basically providing a service, okay, through via an internet, right? And with the help of virtualization, right? So this is what, so it could be a providing a service like it could be storage, databases, it could be a servers, networking, it could be anything, right? So this is what the correct answer is, cloud computing. Fine. So let's move on next question. Okay, which of the following are the features of cloud computing? So cloud computing के बहुत सारे features आते हैं, right? So which among this is an important feature, right? So security, option B, large network access, and option C, availability, and option D, all of the mentioned above. Okay, features. Yes. So what is the correct answer? Yes. What is the correct answer? Yes. What is the correct answer? Okay, I'm getting the response. Okay, so correct answer very simple, है ना? It's all of the mentioned above. क्यों? Because security is one of the important factor in cloud computing. जो भी आप data share कर रहे हो, right? If you are sharing the data, और जो भी आपका data generate हो रहा है, right? So if you are reading or writing, you are getting the data, right? So you are doing a lot of pre-processing cloud के अंदर, right? So all that has to be what, and encrypted, and it has to be a secure, right? So अगर आपका data secure नहीं है, if anyone can access it, right? So why we want to go with cloud computing, right? So security is one of the challenging and very important feature in the cloud computing. जो भी आप data store कर रहे हो, access कर रहे हो, so every time the data is secured over the cloud, right? So security is also one of the important feature. So large network access, right? So जो भी आप services access कर रहे हो in the cloud computing is via internet, right? So of course it has a large network access through which we can access the various resources over the web. Availability, and availability is one of the important feature, because जो भी आप services ले रहे हो, right? So every time that has to be available 24/7, right? So this is what the meaning of availability. इसके अलावा we have many other features. It has to be a durable, right? Durability है, या pay as you go है, demand है, on demand है, right? So we have many features and characteristics of cloud computing. So आपको ऐसे kind of expected questions revise करना है, so that it's important, right? So you need to know the features, characteristics of the cloud computing. So the correct answer for this is all of the mentioned. Fine. ठीक है? Okay, so let's move on next question. Okay, are you people understanding? Okay, fine. Okay, so next question is, so which of the following is a type of cloud computing service? तो already मैंने बताया था, right? So you can just guess. So we have 4 options. Which of the following we have what? A type of cloud computing service. Service, so option A, service as a software, service as a software, then software as a service, software and a service, software and a server. You can see like both confusion, right? Can you get the correct answer? Yes, it is SaaS. Can you get which is the correct SaaS? Option A or option B or option C or option D? Yes, can you guess the correct answer? Yes, what is the correct answer? Yes, the correct answer is, okay, so my telling is it's software as a service. Good, right? Because we have 3 types of computing services जो already मैंने बताया, right? So we have infrastructure as a service, we have platform as a service, and software as a service. So जब मैं बोल रहा हूँ infrastructure as a service, so basically the cloud service providing the entire infrastructure to you, right? So आप end-to-end applications, so basically network architectures होते हैं, right? So the people who are working as an architectures, so those people are basically what, using this entire infrastructure to build some end-to-end application, right? So this is what the IaaS is, infrastructure as a service. So cloud service provider आपको entire infrastructure दे रहा है. You can take an example like AWS, Azure, or Google C, a Google cloud provider. Then you have a platform as a service, right? तो platform में क्या हो रहा है? The cloud service providing is a platform. You have a hardware, right? And even you have what kind of what, a web server, right? So जो भी front end और back end को जो communicate कर रहा है, right? So you have that. So cloud service provider will be providing that as well as hardware. आपको क्या करना है? You need to just build an application, deploy it, test. Okay, so usually the developers होते हैं, right? So most of the people will be developers. जो developer होता है, so basically they use this platform as a service. Okay, so ये सारे cloud service provider करता है. आप example ले सकते हैं, जैसे Heroku है ना? Heroku is one of the good example for the platform as a service, जहाँ पर आप कोई application deploy कर सकते हो, test कर सकते हो, right? So even Google app, right? So Google app engine, so जहाँ पर आप apps को create कर सकते हो, even you can test it, even you can deploy, right? So ऐसे बहुत सारे applications हैं where you can create an applications. It's a platform as a, जहाँ पर आपको platform दिया जा रहा है to create an applications. So next we have a software as a service. So best example is Google, right? Sorry, not Google, Gmail, है ना? तो आपको सिर्फ सॉफ्टवेयर दिया जा रहा है, so you're not worried about anything about the hardware, and you don't know where the data is stored. आपको कुछ नहीं है, just you need to use the service, है ना? So जैसे इधर end users हैं, जैसे public, general public, जो लोग सॉफ्टवेयर डाउनलोड करके इंस्टॉल करी दे यूज इट, राइट? सो व्हाट दिस सॉफ्टवेयर एज ए सर्विस एग्जांपल, तो ये आपको पता होना है, दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, सो दे कैन एक्सपेक्ट सम ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम दिस पार्ट आल्सो. सॉफ्टवेयर एज सर्विस कुछ एग्जांपल्स है ना, जीमेल, ओके, इज वन ऑफ द गुड एग्जांपल फॉर सॉफ्टवेयर एज ए सर्विस. ठीक है, सो इन दिस SA स्टैंड फॉर सॉफ्टवेयर एज अ सर्विस. फाइन, ओके, सो द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. ठीक है, so the next question is which of the following is the application of cloud computing? Very good example. Examples there. You need to find which of the following application is an exam. Which of the following is application of cloud computing? We have a Hadoop, sorry, Adobe, right? We have a PayPal and the Google G Suite. And all of the above. Yes. What is the correct answer? Can you guess the correct answer? Yes, the correct answer is all of the above, right? So we have Hadoop के बहुत सारे applications है which running on the cloud, right? So if you are some creative person or graphic person, you don't know what is Adobe is, right? Even the Google, so बहुत सारे हैं, Google Docs हो गया, Google Sheets हो गया, ऐसे बहुत सारे free services हैं जहाँ पर so most of the services are running. So even the PayPal is also running on over the cloud, okay? Fine, and these are all of the above. Next question. So which of the following example of pass? अभी just बताया, so you can just guess it. So okay, so here we have Heroku, okay, platform as a service. तो हमको पता है what is a platform as a service, right? So we have a platform as a service. Examples को हमको बताना है whether which of the following is an example of platform as a service. It's a Heroku or Elastic Beanstalk, Windows, Azure, and all of the above. Yes, can you guess? अगर आपने work किया, see, so यही difficulty होता है, okay? So the questions will be very simple. Okay, but unexpected, but unexpected in the sense like if you don't know what is Elastic Beanstalk or Windows Azure, आपको difficult लगेगा, right? So better, so आप अगर इस subject को पढ़ रहे हो, so make sure you study more examples, है ना? जो भी अगर कोई भी concept अगर पढ़ रहे हो, cloud computing, या अगर आप पढ़ रहे हो software service या deployment public private और कोई भी ऐसे concept पढ़ रहे हो, so make sure you refer the examples also, जो भी leading रहेगा, right? So the competitors as a top 10 or top 5, so that they during this IC examinations it will be very helpful, right? Yes, can you guess what is the correct example of platform as a service? Yes, can you guess it? Okay, so the correct answer is all of the above, right? So this service is from AWS, है ना? So AWS के अंदर we have something like Elastic Beanstalk, जहाँ पर आप applications को deploy कर सकते हैं, even you can test it, all thing you can, okay? So this is what the one of the services. Even in the Windows Azure you can do it. So this is a platform. आपको platform दिया जा रहा है, so from where you can build a resource application. This is all of the above. Okay. Next question. Which of the following architectural standards is working with the cloud computing industry? Okay. So we have option A, web application frameworks, option B, standardized web services, option C, service oriented architecture, and option D, all of the mentioned above. I mean like ABC. Yes. So आपको बताना है what is basically what some of the standards when you're working with cloud computing, है ना? Can you guess? I'll explain it. Okay, I'll explain it. Yes, what is the correct answer? Yes, what is the correct answer? Option A, web application framework. Option B, standardized web services. Option C, service oriented architecture. And option D, all of the mentioned. Basically, all of these architectures are important. Okay, Fine. So the correct answer is service oriented architecture. Fine. तो इसको हम SOA बोलते हैं, ठीक है. सो अगर आप एवोल्यूशन ऑफ कंप्यूटिंग के बारे में अगर पढ़ेंगे, ठीक है, सो वी हैव मेजरली फोर क्या बोलते हैं, सो फोर मेजर टेक्नोलॉजीज विच हेल्प इन द एवोल्यूशन ऑफ क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग. जैसे वर्चुअलाइजेशन हो गया, लाइक वर्चुअलाइजेशन, ओके. सो देन वी हैड व्हाट यूटिलिटी कंप्यूटिंग, राइट. So then we have a service oriented architecture, right, and web 2.0, next web either web 2.0. Okay, so these are the major web technology, cloud technologies which helped in the cloud computing, है ना, with the emergence of the cloud computing, है ना. So these are the four major cloud computing technologies: virtualization, web 2.0, सर्विस ओरिएंटेड आर्किटेक्चर एंड यूटिलिटी कंप्यूटिंग. सो वर्चुअलाइजेशन, ठीक है, जो मैंने एक्सप्लेन किया है, सो दैट इज वेरी सिंपल. वेब 2.0 इज बेसिकली यू कैन से द एवोल्यूशन ऑफ द इंटरनेट, राइट, जहाँ पर आप जो भी पेजेस एक्सेस कर रहे हो, वेब पेजेस, राइट. सो इट्स मोर ऑफ डायनामिक, राइट. पहले क्या हुआ करता था, इट्स मोर ऑफ स्टैटिक, राइट. जस्ट यू हैड ओनली इमेजेस या टेक्स्ट which we used to use in internet, right. Nowadays we have all this dynamic applications, जो भी web applications है. So you can see an advancement, okay, so in the HTML, okay, in the web development, right. So is what web 2.0. So then we have a utility computing, okay, जो भी आप services provide कर रहे हैं cloud के अंदर, we started charged based as what, how we charge the electricity bill, है ना. जैसे हम कैसे इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिल पे करते हैं, वी डोंट हैव एनी स्टैटिक अमाउंट, है ना. जैसे आप जितना भी यूज करो आपको इतना अमाउंट पे करना है, इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट, राइट. सो यू गोना पे हाउ मच यू हैव यूज्ड इट, राइट. सो दैट्स व्हाट यूटिलिटी कंप्यूटिंग दे स्टार्टेड, राइट. सो यूटिलिटी कंप्यूटिंग में क्या होता है, जैसे अगर आपने इतने यूनिट्स यूज किया इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिल, देन यू विल पे फॉर दैट, राइट. सिमिलरली अगर आप कोई भी सर्विसेज यूज कर रहे हैं क्लाउड के अंदर, राइट, या वर्चुअल मशीन्स हो गया या स्टोरेज हो गया, कोई भी सर्विस यूज करें, यू नीड टू पे how you use it. If you're using more, pay more. If you're using less, just pay less, right. So this was utility computing. Then we had a service oriented architecture. Service oriented architecture, in simple terms I can say that अगर जो भी हमारे cloud service provider होता है, right, so they provide the n number of services, service 1, a service 2, we have a service 3, we have a service 4, right. अगर कोई भी user service को request कर रहा है, right, so they give what in response, जो भी cloud service provider है, they will provide what, a service, ठीक है. so अगर user को service 1 or some of the services from service 2 chahiye, right, that is a combination of service and service 2, right. so this architecture, okay, so where the services can talk to each other, right, so talk to each other and they provide the services in bundle, right. so jahan par they can create an application, right, so providing bundles of this particular services. So then I can say what, we need some architecture to have this communication, right. so that we call it as what, service oriented architecture. so example इसका हो सकता है Google Docs या ऐसे बहुत सारे examples हैं, या HDFC का कोई भी ऐप ले लिया जहाँ पर अलग अलग services है, they combined it and they come in the single app, right. similarly Google Docs का best example है, अगर आप add-ons कुछ add-on करना है Google Docs के अंदर, जैसे spell check या कोई भी थर्ड पार्टी टूल आपको ऐड ऑन करना है, सो दिस इज वन ऑफ द आर्किटेक्चर. जो भी आपका गूगल डॉक्स इट हैज टू कम्युनिकेट विद सम थर्ड पार्टी टूल टू प्रोवाइड दैट पर्टिकुलर सर्विस, है ना. सो दे फॉलो सम स्टैंडर्ड्स, सम प्रोटोकॉल्स to bundle that service and provide to the user, right. so that is basically what, a service oriented architecture, ठीक है. fine, so let's move on to the next question. fine, so which of the following is most important area of concern in the cloud computing? we just discussed, है ना, कौन सा important concern है, whether it's a scalability concern, storage concern, security, or all of the mentioned above, all of the mentioned. yes, so the concern is security, very understandable, है ना. scalability का कोई concern नहीं है. so basically if you want some systems, okay, so to scale up or scale down based on the performance or based on the request, है ना, so we can scale up or scale down our applications. storage का कोई ऐसे important area नहीं है जो that we need to remember, so it's only thing is security, right. fine, so next is which of the following is a deployment model. तो क्लाउड के अंदर वी हैव 3 टाइप्स ऑफ डिप्लॉयमेंट मॉडल्स, राइट. सो दिस इज वेरी सिंपल, आई थिंक इट्स ऑल ऑफ द मेंशनड, है ना. वी आर गेटिंग yes, आई थिंक many are typing it, so answer is D, right. so we have 3 types of deployment models. we have a public, private and hybrid. इसमें क्या होता है, when I say public, So where the entire deployment is happened in the public, जहाँ पर outsiders या कोई भी हो, they can access the services. Private का मतलब within the organization, okay? So within your organization अगर आपने deploy किया है, so then so whatever the services you are gonna provide in that particular cloud, so only the organization people can use it. Hybrid is basically a combination of, right? Is basically a combination of public plus private. Okay, so usually most of the companies adopt, है ना, अगर उनका कोई service है, they go with public, and जो भी इनका internal data है, they store it in the private. So basically hybrid model, right? ऐसे अलग models भी होते हैं, community and stuff. Okay, but these are the three major deployment models. Fine. Okay, so the next question. Dash is a cloud computing service model in which hardware virtualized in the cloud. ऐसा कौन सा सर्विस है? So where we do the hardware virtualization का concept हो रहा है, right? I think if you know this, what this service is doing, आपको easily से answer बोल सकते हो. So we have infrastructure, software, platform, and none of the mentioned. Yes. So what is the answer? Yes. What is the answer? So the correct answer is option A, right? Because when in the infrastructure as a service, I am providing the entire infrastructure, right? So cloud service provider is providing the entire infrastructure. So जहाँ पर hardware को भी virtualize किया जा रहा है, right? So this is basically software. Either we are not touching any kind of software. You're directly using the software like Gmail, right? We're not worried about anything about the hardware, even in the platform also as a service also. Okay. Okay, which of the following is a cloud platform by Amazon? अगर आपने इस lecture देखा, then easily you can say, right? It's basically, yeah, what is the correct answer? AWS, right? Azure, Cloudera. So this is the cloud platform by the Amazon. Okay, so this was some of the sample questions, है ना, जो हमने आज discuss किया है. And along with the sample or important question, even we have discussed the previous asked questions. Fine. So if you want to learn more, right? So even like already we have started our batches, है ना? तो batch already start हो गया है, and so even कई subjects, though I think 2 or 3 subjects already start हो गया है, right? So cloud computing जो मैं ले रहा हूँ, so right? So cloud computing या IoT applications या जो भी आपका syllabus में mention हुआ है, so already some of the subjects are already started, है ना? So if you want to learn more, right? So practice more, right? So you can get into that. But yes, so this was all about in today's session. So we have discussed the previous year questions which was asked with respect to the cloud computing, you know? So yes, any doubts, anything you wanna ask me in the chat? Yes. Okay. Thanks for joining. Thank you so much, right? And all the best. Okay, so for your examination, right? Yes, see you soon. Okay, all the best. Take care. Okay, bye.